Welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about why interconnection, like why am I so passionate about it, and what does it mean to be interconnected beings and communities and all of that. And I'm super excited. And so if you're seeking more connection, harmony, bliss in your life, and you're on a conscious journey of just returning home to love and to self and to land, then this video is for you, because everything is interconnected, and that's what we're gonna go into today. So hello beautiful earthlings, and welcome to this channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And this channel is all about interconnected being, living, home, community, and entrepreneurship. And I'm just gonna jump right into the video. What does interconnection mean? By definition, it says a connection, physical or logical, between multiple things. I feel like that's a really basic definition. So my definition is a little bit more, has more depth, I would say. But I think that the connection between all living things, and all things, honestly, we could look at the elements of nature. We could look at the elements of health, like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. We could look at the connection in communities and the world, and how really everything is interconnected, like the ocean and the trees. And I was watching a show, I think it was on Netflix, I think it's called Connection, about how the sand and the sandstorms in one country literally affects and lands in the Amazon forest. And so this is what I mean by interconnection. Like everything is interconnected, and we can't really take a part out. Like everything on the earth, we're connected. We even connecting with this. We're connected with the sun and the planets and the solar system, like, and the universe. Everything's interconnected. And so I believe that our uniqueness in this world is needed, and that is what makes us all so beautiful. Like imagine we were all the same. It would just be boring, you know? And so living in truth and in alignment with this uniqueness is needed in this world, and that is what makes our interconnection, if that makes any sense. To me, it makes sense. Let me know if you got questions, because I'm an open book. And to me, this is how we build interconnected communities, by living our truth and living in our weirdness and uniqueness and rawness, because like you are needed and I am needed in this world, and that is what makes this world so beautiful. But living from a place of consciousness and connection helps us on a day-to-day basis feel more connected, harmonious, healthy, blissful, and nourished. And when each being is feeling all those beautiful things, that's how the communities are connected, and the individual beings are in that frequency of love. Then that's what happens in the outer world, and in the communities, and in our world, and on this earth. So that's what it means to me. Like, why is that so important? Because I believe that building interconnected communities is how we are gonna just create more harmony, bliss, and connection. Because I just feel as a species, we've just become a lot like disconnected a lot, and that was really part of my journey and what happened to me. So that actually leads us into my next thing that I want to talk about, and why interconnection, why it's so meaningful to me, and why I'm so passionate about it. And I'm going to share about that by just sharing a little bit about my story. I'm not going to go too much into details, because I want to make a whole video on my story, but I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. Like, I hit rock bottom in 2017, 2018. I guess I would say 2018, when I was in a 5-year relationship, and we left each other. And before that, I feel like the universe was really trying to like get me to make changes. Like, I had a car accident in grade 12 that changed my path. Like, I wanted to go to university to be a brain surgeon, and then instead I got in a car accident that led to like a little bit of a brain injury. So I had to like change my course, and that's when I studied kinesiology. That really showed me the power of preventative health. And then I also had for bunions, and so I got surgery, and that surgery wasn't really successful, so I had to get surgery to fix it, and blah blah blah. So the universe was really trying to like guide me, but I wasn't listening, and so it took a really breakup. It was really hard for me. Like I lost a lot of friends, and it was just really a hard breakup. And so it made me realize that I didn't love myself, and I was repeating these cycles because I had 2 relationships before that in high school, and it just, yeah, I didn't love myself. And so after that breakup, I was like, hey, I'm gonna love myself, and I'm just gonna be on this journey of just inner healing and figuring myself out in my life. And so that's what I did. And before that, I was pretty spiritual. Like I grew up, my parents are very spiritual, and like the first book I read was The Secret when I think I was 13, 14. But again, there's like everything's interconnected. So those were just pieces that I had, but I was missing so much to my spirituality and my connection to self and everything like that. And so I went on to study holistic nutrition because I had, like my whole life, I struggled with like skin, severe digestion issues, mental health, and like bone alignment and stuff. So yeah, I went on to study holistic nutrition. I was able to like really have a healthy gut and heal some of those digestion issues. And then I studied like personal training and fascial stretch therapy. And that's when I really realized the like power of movement and like our fascia and all those things. And like, but there was still missing pieces. So I was doing energy work and I did Reiki, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, energy healing, inner child, shadow work. I dove into those areas. And then I did a self-love retreat where I realized the power of the love frequency over fear, and the power of self-love, self-forgiveness, self-awareness, self-responsibility, all of those things. Because like we are one. And so when we focus on ourselves rather than like trying to heal or trying to do this with all these other things really start to shift from a place of like inner shifts, and then the outer shifts happen. And so I just kept going. I also started really connecting with nature and like gardening and connecting to my food, like really connecting to my food, grounding, connecting with the sun, being present, and then surrendering. Those were all like key components. I'm going fairly quick with these topics, but I'm going to be making lots of videos on all these different topics that I'm mentioning. But that was my journey. I just kept going because I just always felt like there was like more, and there was like just key components that I was missing. So then I kept going with doing work around my heart chakra, my sacral chakra, around like intimacy, pleasure, creativity. I even went on to like focus on my dental work. That's where I'm at right now. My healing journey, really like the past year I've been focused on my teeth. Like our teeth actually hold memory, and they're connected to our meridians and everything like that. And I've also been on a journey of healing my perfectionism and people pleasing, also my guilt and my shame that I've just been carrying. And so this is what I mean by everything's connected. It's not just about nutrition and fitness. It's not just about inner work and shadow work. It's not just about that's like, it's not just about the chakras, you know what I mean? And so I kept going. And I've been drinking living water now for about 13 months. And that was another huge component that just made me like, whoa. And I would say a year ago is when I really started drinking the living water, when everything just clicked. And I was like, whoa, like everything is connected. And that's when I started really just like studying our interconnection. I've been studying permaculture as well. And I'm honestly just mind blown at our interconnection and how everything, like there's a purpose for everything, for our pain, for our shadows, for our trauma, for the heavier emotions, And that's why I'm so passionate about our interconnection and sharing this, because to me that's been such a healing thing in my life. And I feel like there's a lot being thrown around with like manifestation and the law of attraction and quantum leaps and all of that stuff. And I think that that's really, really beautiful and really powerful. But I think it's missing key components with like nutrition and movement, and then like the fitness industry is missing the other components. And so when I was on my healing journey and studying all these things, like sometimes I was like, can we just at least mention that like this is not the saving thing? Like, can we just talk that it like everything's connected? And so that's why I just became an entrepreneur, and that's why I became like a creator and educator, because I'm so passionate about this interconnection. And so for me, it's more than just holistic health and natural living and spirituality, and it's how we speak to ourselves. It's how we show up in conversations. It's how we show up to the little moments and the thoughts in our head. And it's about letting go of judgment and like being aware maybe of judgment, because judgment is a human thing. Just like jealousy and yeah, like I feel like there's such like heaviness around the darker things in life and emotions, but to me, I find that they're really a gift, and they're helping us to guide us back home to ourselves and guide us back to love and to oneness. And like even how we show up and like fill gas at the gas station, or how we show up when we go to lunch with our friends, like all the little things, it's interconnected. And if you're like meditating and being like doing all those things, but you're like super rude to your parents or super rude to the janitor or your boss, like it's just like, you know what I mean? Like there's a disconnect there. And like, don't get me wrong, we're human and it's a journey and divine timing, and we have to trust our journey. But again, I think that that's why the component of connection is so important. But that's how I feel like explaining it, because to me, that's how it made sense. And that's why I'm so passionate about really like sharing about interconnected beings, interconnected homes, interconnected communities, and interconnected entrepreneurship, because it all starts with us. And I think the more that we're aware and that we're conscious and that we just keep being curious, kind of like little children that are curious to learn and to be like raw and authentic and honest, I think that that's how we are going to create communities that are more connected and harmonious and blissful for all living things. Like the humans, the plants, the animals, the microorganisms, because again, everything's interconnected. So it's important, like all those things are key component to the interconnection of our world. I think that that's how we build interconnected communities. And so what do I mean when I'm talking about interconnected beings? Well, to me, I work closely with the elements, and so I share a lot about like earth, fire, ether, air, and water. But then I think it's really important to connect them back to ourselves, because I think that we need to stop pointing fingers and just like kind of put the mirror in front of us and put the fingers back at us and be like, okay, like how am I maybe creating some of this, or maybe at a subconscious level. That's why it's super, super important to just be aware, and just not be so hard on ourselves, because like sometimes we don't know any better. Like that's just how we've been raised, or how society has just been for I don't know how much time. But does that make sense? Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. But that's what I mean, being interconnected beings, and like not leaving a component out, like mental health, physical health, emotional, spiritual, energetic. Those are all key components, and we can't take one out. Like they're all equally important. And like even our home, like the materials that we have in our home, the energy that's in our home. I've been also diving into feng shui and like just how does the energy circulate in our space? How does that affect us, you know? Like even gardening or growing our own food, our home, like our neighborhoods, and how are like, for example, even like raking all the leaves, like there's beings living under the leaves, like the insects and stuff, and how are our actions affecting that? And like, yes, it's like little, but it's like, what if everybody rakes the leaves and like takes them out? Like that's taking all the eggs and the insects out. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that all these little things impact the greater community in our earth. And to me, self-care and home care and all of those things, like that is healthcare, that is earth care, that like it's all just one, you know. And so what do I mean by interconnected communities and interconnected entrepreneurship? The entrepreneurship thing is around money, and money is energy, and so that's connected to ourself again, because if we're just going to work and like from a place of like, oh, I'm like control and this and like more of that masculine energy, then maybe we're gonna run out of fuel at one point and be burnt out or just unhappy. Maybe it's gonna happen now, maybe it's gonna happen at 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is what I mean by everything's interconnected, and money is just energy. And so that ties into interconnected communities. If all the beings in the community are just behaving, like acting from a place of like control and I need this and I need that, and we're just all disconnected, then that's the communities we're going to have, disconnected communities. And so I think it's really powerful to just be conscious and aware and like not look at it as like, oh my God, like this is intense. Like looking at it from a place of like awareness and education, and then making conscious decisions from that point. I think that we do have power and we are very magical beings, and it just really begins with us. But yeah, that's my little video on our interconnection and what it means to me and why it's been so powerful in my healing journey and on my like entrepreneurship journey, and also just on my journey of love and my relationships, like all my relationships in life, and just how I feel on a day-to-day basis, and how I also view like challenges and mistakes and like just normal human things, you know. And so yeah, if you're interested in any of this, like, please subscribe, like, and turn on your bell notifications, because I would be so happy to have you part of my community, this lovely interconnected beings community of love and of consciousness and returning to self and land and love and what we're here to live. Like we're here to live wild and free and to be happy. So yeah. I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Mwah.